After years of delays and setbacks, a housing complex set to bring hundreds of affordable units to San Francisco broke ground today. And it comes after a creative pivot from the developer. So the development is located at 300 DeHaro Street. It's right off of 16th in Potrero Hill. The plan calls for more than 400 units, all affordable, along with 6,000 square feet of commercial space. So the project was originally planned as market rate homes. But when that stalled out, the developer changed course and took advantage of a new state law that fast-tracked affordable housing. Our John Ramos explains how even with regulations being relaxed, don't expect a housing boom anytime soon.
Advocates often say the solution to homelessness is to build more homes. And for years, the state has been working to get rid of laws and regulations that stand in the way of that. But now, even with much of that removed, developers say there are still a lot of roadblocks to getting housing built. The new 10-story development at 300 DeHaro Street will add 425 units of 100% affordable housing to San Francisco, designed specifically for working people with middle incomes. It's something that's desperately needed, but under the previous rules,
we would not be standing here because the project wouldn't be entitled, most likely.
Really, it was that restrictive?
It's development in San Francisco is challenging. There's a lot of hurdles, and so a lot of projects either are delayed or are never built.
Mark McDonald is the CEO of DM Development, the company behind the 300 DeHaro project. It was the first site in the state to be approved under Senate Bill 35, a measure passed in 2017 that forces cities to accept affordable housing projects.
It wasn't a yes or no anymore. It was, this is going to happen.
Corey Smith heads up the Housing Action Coalition. He, like most activists, wants to see housing built quickly, but he's had to accept some hard truths.
While we do need to operate with urgency to have this go faster, and we're not seeing a bunch of housing breaking ground today that we would hope for, I have accepted the fact that this is going to be a multi-decade fix. That is just the reality of it, unfortunately.
That's because market forces are holding things up. First and foremost is the increase in construction costs, at one point rising at 1% per month. Also, a lack of capital available as investors turn to safer sectors in a time of high interest rates. Then there was a post-COVID stagnation in rent. In layman's terms, it simply doesn't pay to build housing in the current environment.
First, we had COVID that scared away a lot of institutional investors, and they simply redlined San Francisco and Investment Committee. That's changing now. The narrative around the city is changing now.
300 DeHaro was originally planned as market rate housing, but without the benefit of government subsidies, most of that has pretty much come to a halt. So McDonald's company shifted gears, and now he says costs are leveling off and rents are starting to rise. Good news for developers. And he says the old doom loop image of San Francisco is starting to go away.
So I have seen this movie now 4 times. And everyone leaves San Francisco for dead, and then it rises like a phoenix out of the ashes. It has happened every single time, and it's going to happen this time, and it's happening as we speak.
It took 6 years for the 300 DeHaro project to even begin construction, and it will take a generation for San Francisco to get the housing it needs. But that may actually be possible now that the state and cities have gotten out of the way.
If all goes as planned, the housing complex will be finished sometime in the summer of 2027. It is intended for working people with incomes between $45,000 and $95,000 per year. State Senator Scott Wiener authored the bill that made the project possible. He also has another housing bill currently working through Sacramento. Senate Bill 79 would allow more apartments to be built near public transit stations across the state. Those buildings could be up to 9 stories tall, depending on the project. Supporters say it is another way to fight the housing crisis and boost public transit ridership. But opponents argue it does not do enough to guarantee the new housing would be affordable. The bill already passed the Senate and is waiting action in the Assembly.